This presentation tonight is for particularly our Year 10 students who are considering their pattern of study for next year and have heard about Learn Plus, our diploma program, and want to know more, and of course for the parents. I'd like to acknowledge that we are gathering on the land of the Mulgoa clan of the Darug Nation, and I'd like to pay my respects to elders past and present, and to acknowledge their continuing relationship to the land where they worked and taught their own children. So, Learn Plus, we have with us tonight a panel of people who will help us to talk about the opportunities that are available at the college in 2021. And so to begin, on the far end of the panel, we have Nikki Alsengeest.
Good evening, Greg.
Good evening. Nikki is our Partnerships Manager, and Mr. McNamara.
Hi, Greg. Great to be here.
It's lovely to have you here. Adam is our Learn Plus coach. And we're delighted tonight to welcome two of our current diploma students. We've got Talia and Jay. Great to have you here with us. Thanks for coming in tonight, girls.
No worries.
Okay, so let's get straight into it and have a think about why we have decided to offer this alternative pathway. It comes from our understanding that all students are unique, that they're different and they have different hopes and dreams, and that potentially the one HSC, which is the only credential that's offered to Year 11 and 12 students in New South Wales, that may not be the right fit for all 70,000 students in Year 11 and 12 across the state. And so we explored other options as to what might be appropriate for students to meet those unique challenges and those unique interests that they have and unique ways of learning. And as you would know, students need to stay at school until they are 17 years of age. And we believe that school is a good place for young people. Some would leave at 17 and perhaps go to another training institution or head straight into the workforce. But in doing so, they leave behind all those things that make school a great place for teenagers and young adults. And what we're offering here is a way of providing an alternative pathway, but at the same time, keeping our students as part of this community with all that that means as part of a Catholic faith community and part of a really quality learning community. So we'll hear from the students tonight about their experience and what makes Learn Plus different to the HSC. So we might start by defining what a diploma is, because we can't assume that that's something that everyone would be familiar with. So Nikki, what is a diploma?
Well, a diploma is a qualification that's traditionally done after school. It sits on the Australian Qualifications Framework, or the AQF, at a level 5. Now, just to put that in perspective, a bachelor's degree at university is at a level 7. A doctorate, which you're well acquainted with, is at a level 10. And the HSC doesn't actually fit onto the AQF. In fact, the AQF described the HSC as being a qualification that prepares students for further qualifications on the AQF.
Okay.
A diploma can lead directly into work readiness, a job, or as a pathway into university.
I see. All right. So as it's quite different to the HSC, so we might ask why students would choose it. And I guess the people to ask is Talia and Jay. So Adam, do you want to introduce our special guests tonight?
Yes, so Talia and Jay are both doing a Diploma of Business Administration. And I'm going to ask them a couple of questions about their experience to shed some light for those of you who may be considering the diploma. Jay, first up, let us know a little bit, if you can, about why you chose to do a diploma originally.
So I heard of it by Dr. Elliott a year ago, and he introduced it, and I thought it would be a good opportunity because it's a different way of like getting into uni or getting job ready.
Great. And Talia, the experience of the diploma for you, what's it meant for you personally?
Well, I figured that since being at school, we've done everything the traditional way, and I couldn't turn down an opportunity that arose like that provided such great difference. And as Sir said, it's very unique. So I thought it'd be better off to go for that opportunity.
Great. And Jay, what have you learned about yourself as a learner in the last 9-10 months?
I learned that I'm more independent now than what I was in Year 10.
Fabulous. And learning to organisation is an area that you're particularly focused on, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's on an online course mostly. So I learned like the skills of using the laptop and being more organised with that.
And your time management skills have really been honed and improved over the year, haven't they?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Talia, yourself, what about your workplace skills? What skills and strengths have you found in terms of what's motivated you in the course so far?
Well, I think obviously motivation is a big one for me.
Yeah.
Coming from a school as I was doing it before the diploma course, I was relying on a lot of external motivation. So teachers pushing, and yeah, that's great. And I guess as a younger student, it might be commonly seen, but I was going into senior years and it needed to change, and it was something I was aware of. And then jumping into the diploma course, it was a bit of a toss-up whether or not if I did it, then it would be great, and if I didn't, then it would have made me lack a little bit in the course. But I feel like it's an easy thing to gain in the course, because when you do things out of your own will and out of your own motivation, it pushes you to want to do things more, because you learn that I did that because I wanted to, not because my teacher said that I should. So I think it's a sustainable goal.
Absolutely. And looking longer term and beyond school, when you graduate at the end of next year, the pathways that this diploma offer to you are quite broad, aren't they?
Yeah. Exactly.
It's not necessarily a first step to go into a job, although you could. Certainly university is a very realistic option, isn't it? And for Jay, what might that be for you?
Yeah, so I'm looking to go to uni and then continue my business diploma, and then as well as getting into architecture.
Yeah, it's an exciting area, something you've talked about for a long time.
Yeah.
And what about you, Talia?
Oh, look, my mind changes every once in a while. So I figured that it'd be a good way to go into senior years of school, because I knew that I'd have the flexibility to be able to, get into a job ready position or be able to continue my studies. So whether or not that means I do go to university, if so, I'd be interested in areas of ACU and Macquarie. Or if I decide to go with a career choice and get into a job with a powerful statement of having a diploma rather than other options, I think that would work too.
Excellent. Thanks for sharing your insights. That's really good.
So some people might think that if you're choosing a diploma, that it leads automatically to a particular job, but that's not been the case for either of you, has it? Like, if you're doing a diploma of business administration, some people might think you would then work in a business role or an administration role. But Jay, you're talking about becoming an architect.
Yeah.
And Talia, you're using that as kind of a general qualification that's a launch pad for a whole range of choices that you might take later on.
Yeah, exactly. You're right there. And I guess that was a leading factor as to why personally myself, I chose business, because I knew, given my indecisiveness around careers, that it'd be a good area to be in, as it's relatable to a lot of different pathways. So I thought exactly what you said is correct. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So let's then have a look at what this is going to look like for 2021. It's the college's intention that we will be providing diplomas next year. We have capped the total number of diplomas at 12 students. So that limited number of places means that we really want to make sure we've got the right students in the right qualifications. The students will be doing a range of school-based subjects as well as their diploma. So that would mean a course in English, mathematics, and religious education, as well as a subject that they would choose for passion reasons. For example, we might have a student in Year 10 who's passionate about dance and might want to do a 2-unit dance as part of her HSC, or a student who's really passionate about the visual arts, or wants to even expand their business knowledge further and might do 2-unit business studies or legal studies to support the legal diploma. So when we're thinking about the plans for next year, it'll be some schoolwork and some diploma work. What I'd like to do now is just share with you which of those diplomas we'll be offering next year. This doesn't necessarily mean that that each of these diplomas will be offered in this form, but I'm just going to share that to your screen now. So we are offering the Business Administration Diploma that Talia and Jay are undertaking this year, as well as community services. Where might that lead, Nikki?
Oh, look, anything from social work and youth work, working in disability, even heading into something like psychology or policing.
Okay. Legal services, obviously a pathway into law, as well as a general diploma like what Talia is doing with business.
But also law enforcement, so people who are interested in working in corrections or, again, with policing.
Okay. Early childhood education and care obviously will be a pathway into education. And marketing and communications, travel and tourism, not that there's much of that going on at the moment, sadly. And the last one you can see on your screens there is very interesting. It's civil construction engineering. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that, Nikki?
Oh, this is really exciting. This is a partnership that we've developed with Southern Cross University. And I think, see, I think when we think of construction, we think of high vis and hard hats and guys, you know, and that's not it at all. This is like a huge industry that there are so many pathways for our girls to go in. If they want to don the high vis and be on the work site, great. But, you know, there are other options as well.
Yeah, so this partnership with Southern Cross University will see our students do a 2-year diploma of civil construction, which can then, with a further year of university, become an associate degree, which means that the students graduating from that course would be qualified to a certain degree in the industry to take up jobs in project management and civil construction engineering. But if they choose to stay on and finish the rest of the engineering degree, then they would be fully qualified engineers. And the university has shared with us that the 4 years is the full degree, but the students would be finishing first year engineering while they're still here at school. What's employment looking like for engineers at the moment, Nikki?
Well, employment for engineers, we should all go and become engineers, basically. If you do a degree in engineering or a diploma in engineering, you are setting yourself up for a lifetime of continual employment. At this point in time, only 58% of engineering job vacancies are filled by qualified, suitable applicants. So on average, about 25 applicants per job, per vacancy. About 15 of those are qualified.
Yes.
And about 2 of those are suitable.
Okay.
So you stand a pretty good chance. Don't forget, there are 42% of engineering job vacancies that remain unfilled. So this is a great pathway for anyone who's interested in engineering.
And it's also a great place in Australia to be if you're looking at a career like this, because we are in the infrastructure hub of Australia at the moment with the construction of Sydney's second airport. The runway is only 12 kilometres from where we're sitting tonight. The jobs in this area are really going to...
Well, the opportunities are taking off, aren't they? They really are.
You just had to land that one, didn't you? And so the infrastructure investment, multi-billion-dollar investment, will see ongoing demand for engineers. And the people in the industry that I've spoken to say that they really look very closely at female applicants because of the skills in problem solving and communication that they bring to the work that's so valuable in the workplace. So we're hoping that students will think about that seriously. And in particular, Year 10 students who are doing pretty good at maths at the moment should consider that as a pathway for themselves in Year 11 and 12.
Next Friday, we've got a series of alumni coming in to talk about their career paths. And one of them is Sian Ma, who's working in the construction industry now. She finished here in 2016, I think. And she's doing great things within that construction industry. So she'll be here to talk to the girls about what it's like to work in a typically male-dominated field.
That's right. That's right. So they're the offerings for next year. As we said, not all of those will necessarily run. It depends really on your choice. What you want to run is what we'll pursue with our partners. Now, we need to be very clear about the fact that there is an additional cost associated with the diplomas because we are engaging with external partners who have their own costs, and those costs are on top of the school fees. So we'll be providing more information about that as we coach individual students towards these decisions. So one of the really important questions that we need to address is about what happens for those students who have always seen as their pathway to go to Year 7 to 10, then choose their subjects, get an ATAR and go to university, get the highest ATAR they can so that the university will accept them. Where does Learn Plus sit with our university partners?
It's great news for our Learn Plus students. So we have, or the providers, so at the moment, Australian Careers Business College and Southern Cross University have articulation agreements. Now, what that means is that's an agreement whereby the student with a completed diploma gets guaranteed entry into a range of courses and some what we call recognised prior learning, or RPL in the old terms for the mums and dads out there, credit. And it can be up to 12 months of RPL that's awarded to our students with just based on the work that they've done in their diploma.
Mhm.
So essentially, if Talia and Jay decided to go to Western Sydney to do a Bachelor of Business, or Australian Catholic University to do a Bachelor of Commerce, they could go in directly into second year university. They're saving time and they're saving money.
Yeah.
And I think as well, Nikki, with that, while at school and having the security and safety of being at school, to be able to study a university course and know you're transitioning into that same similar atmosphere, it's less of a daunting experience. I think that leaving school and going into this unknown field of university is kind of a big scary thing. I find that for myself. So I think that it's a bit of an insight into what it would be like. And I think it's a way to lighten the experience of moving like that.
So that transition from school to uni, a lot of students find a shock because they've been spoon-fed really while they're in year 11 and 12, and you haven't been spoon-fed. You've been doing it for yourselves. Yeah. So you're thinking about a particular uni, Jay?
Yeah, I was thinking about Western Sydney.
Okay. And Talia, what do you think about if you do go to uni?
Yeah, as I said before, I think it was Macquarie and ACU are standout options, I think.
So Nikki, do these girls have to compete with the 70,000 students doing the HSC?
No.
Do they have to compete with students fighting for an ATAR?
No.
So they walk straight in.
They walk straight in.
And straight into second year?
Well, depending on what course. For example, these girls into Bachelor of Business, straight into second year. One of our students who's doing a Diploma in Legal Studies or Legal Services can go into a Bachelor of Laws at ACU with 20 credit points. So that's 2 full subjects that they get credit for, which means in their first semester, instead of having to do 4 subjects, they're only doing 2. What a nice way to ease into a laws degree.
That's great. So that's what makes this this program so different. We don't think that everyone needs to compete for the highest ATAR. Less than 25% of university places, undergraduate places, are filled with students using their ATAR, and more there are alternative pathways into uni. For example, just this year, Nikki, how many early offers have we had for our year 12s?
Well, we're up to about 85 to 90 offers that have gone out to over 60 students.
Yeah,
so some students have 5 or 6, or even there's a student who has 7 offers across 3 universities.
And that just shows that the ATAR is not the be-all and end-all of a school exit credential. It really has outlived its usefulness, and programs like Learn Plus are proving that every single day.
Yeah, and so the universities are really exploring these other options, partly because they want to know, who is this student? They don't just want to know an application number and an ATAR. They want to know, what has Talia done? How has Jay contributed? You know, what type of learners are they? And this is really evidenced in that.
Absolutely. And all of those other skills that the girls are learning along the way are very attractive to universities. So seeing students who are so motivated, who are so independent, and who can do their own problem solving means that they'll be highly valued students at university level.
Even the girls writing, the way they're presenting projects or essays, it's at an academic. It's academic writing.
And day to day, the enterprise skills that we talk a lot about, or soft skills, the girls are demonstrating that just in their interactions, either with myself, their trainers at the university, and their mentors. And this year being the year it was with the coronavirus and having to go to remote learning, the remote learning for our students in the diploma program, they were up and running anyway. It was a part of their blended learning that was part of term 1 and 2 for them to begin with. So that was just a good example of where they were already work ready and ready with those skills.
So let's have a quick chat about what supports are available for students in the Learn Plus program, because remember, this is the real key difference. I think that the students are here at school continuing their learning, but they're just doing something different to other students. So Talia, Jay, have you felt supported this year?
Yeah.
Can you explain or describe some of the support that you've had?
Well, I mean, we've obviously got still, as per every student here, the support of the teachers at Carlington College, but as well, we've got like other branches. So we have our ACBC College, which is the partnership to do Learn Plus. We've also got our mentors with that. And then we've been experiencing a relationship in business terms with Nikki Hill. So she's the manager of corp training, and we've been working as consultants in that area. So she's just another support person, as well as not directly to assessment based, but just in relation to business skills. And that's all been helpful to apply to our work that we do in our diploma.
And you've also had Mr. Mack as your Learn Plus coach.
Oh yeah, obviously. No,
okay.
only a little bit. No, so it's been
And
obviously
Nikki
there.
is our partnerships manager, and Cara, who I know is joining us online, as our pathways coach. So the school-based supports are significant as well. So Jay, you're doing a very different program. Do you still feel like a regular Chisholm student?
Yeah, of course. Like we still hang with all our friends at recess and lunch and with our other classes.
Mhm.
And all that.
So you're still part of the homeroom and
Yeah.
all of the year group activities and whole school activities. You still feel part of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have really worked to make sure that the students are as integrated as possible into the full life of the school, because we don't want them to stop being Caroline Chisholm students and to lose all that benefit that comes from being Chisholm students. So I'm glad that you feel well supported. That was our plan from the very beginning. So let's talk about next steps then. We have already emailed you with a link to an expression of interest form that we would invite you to complete so that Nikki and Cara, our two coaches, can meet with the students who are interested and coach them towards a really solid decision about whether this is the right pathway for them. That's going to take a little while. As Adam and Nikki mentioned earlier, next Friday, all of Year 10 will receive a presentation about the Learn Plus opportunities. And we're going to meet some really special guests, Nikki, aren't we?
Yeah, we've got 4 ex-students. I don't like to call them old girls because they're not old. 4 ex-students coming in to talk about their work experience in childcare, in law, in business, and in engineering construction. So that's a really great opportunity. Talia and Jay and the other Learn Plus students will also be joining those girls, the Year 10, at that pastoral lesson, so that they can also talk to the Year 10s about their experience, but also for these girls to hear from those experts.
For sure, for sure. So they're the next steps. We are hoping to have worked with the students to identify those who are most suited to the program. A reminder that there are only 12 places for 2021, and to work with the families as well. So mums and dads will be invited and carers will be invited into the school to meet with Nikki or Cara or me or Mr. Mack to talk through what this might look like for your daughters. The experience that we've had this year with our group of Learn Plus students, I would have to say I'm very proud of. Wouldn't you, Mr. Mack?
Absolutely. It's been a privilege to be a part of this year and to see the girls thrive and grow in the environment that they've been learning in and working, and the partnerships they've developed professionally with the various partners in our program. It's a real thrill to see, and I'm equally proud of them. I think they've done an awesome job.
So we're really enjoying seeing that growth, and that's a growth that your daughter could experience as well in the program. The program has also attracted the attention of universities and governments across New South Wales, well, the government of New South Wales. The Minister for Skills and Tertiary Education has provided us with a grant to study Learn Plus. So we've engaged a partnership with Western Sydney University researchers who'll be working with us over the next 6 months or so to report to the New South Wales Parliament on this as a viable pathway for students across New South Wales. So it is attracting the attention of policymakers and decision makers. And I think there are some really good reasons for that, because students deserve the very best learning opportunities, and they deserve to have those opportunities tailored to their needs, to their passions, to their interests, and Learn Plus does exactly that. So we look forward to hearing from you. If you have questions, there's one in the chat at the moment. Oh no, they're just some messages from Cara. If you do have questions, please contact us here at the college. We'd be only too happy to answer them for you. And then we will be inviting families in to have further conversations. So thank you for joining us tonight. Apologies for, again, not being able to live stream to Facebook. We'll put this video up on Facebook in a little while this evening so that you can replay the best bits of Jay and Talia.
It'll be there for all eternity.
I think Talia's mum will share it with all the relatives.
I'm sure she will.
That's okay, Talia. My mum's going to do the same thing.
Oh, all right, we're in the same boat.
And Dr. Elliott, the parents watching on Facebook, if you're watching now, you're watching a delayed version of this, but also feel free to put comments in on Facebook, and that can be monitored and addressed there on
We can
Facebook.
get back
as
to you
well.
that way as well. So thank you to my co-panelists, to Jay and Talia, for your sharing your experience tonight, to Mr. Mack, as always, for supporting the Learn Plus
Pleasure.
girls, and Nikki, who is a fixture on our live streams.
On our live streams.
And good night, everyone, and God bless.
Goodbye.